I'm sure we've all been in the situation where we're trying to zoom in and zoom out on a subject, but you end up with a bit of camera shake. To help alleviate this problem, I did come across the JJC's remote controller for the Sony cameras. There are a good number of these both on eBay and Amazon, but I will leave a link in the description below where I got mine from. It is a very simple arrangement. You get the remote controller itself and two leads. The two cables that are included in the set are one for the multi and one for the remote terminals. Besides the remote controller itself, there is a nice handy clip-on clip that will hold the remote controller on your tripod if required. The instruction leaflet does give you a good indication of the various types of cameras and the connections to those cameras. Here's a list of the multitude of Sony cameras that you use this remote controller with. There is no battery inside the remote controller, as it uses the leads which connect onto your Sony camera using either the remote or the multi-terminal connection. Both leads measure approximately 1 meter in length. The provided clip is quite handy, as the remote controller will fit into it, and then that can be clipped onto either the leg or the pan bar of your tripod. To enable you to connect the remote controller to other equipment, there is a 1/4-20 hole on the back. The remote cable plug-in can be found on the top. As with any remote controller, it does mirror the controls on your camera. The buttons allow power on and power off for the camcorders to activate the camera, video and still image recording. It allows for motor driven lens and zoom, displays a grid line, and lock the shutter for long exposure and continuous shooting. Connecting the controller to the camera could not be easier. Simply plug in the either multi or remote terminal cable into one end on the remote controller and the other end into your multi-terminal socket on the camera. Remember to check the list of cameras that this is suitable for. Make sure your camera has got either the remote terminal or multi-terminal. One thing I do like, when the remote controller is plugged into the camera, you still have all the functionality of being able to zoom in, zoom out with either the controls or the ring on the camera. Use the start, stop recording facility and switching on the grid lines. The controller will switch on or switch off the camera. The grid lines can be switched on or switched off if required. The zoom in and zoom out function, the switch is touch sensitive. A small touch will zoom in or out slowly. A hard press will zoom in or out quickly. A start and stop record button, and finally the shutter release can be held on for doing long exposures or time lapse. If you're in the market for a remote controller for your Sony camera, this is well worth considering. I hope you found this information of use to you. Thank you for watching.